Hey everyone, if you're looking for new indie games, you're in luck, as the Steam Next Fest is now on, and I'm here to showcase 20 top demos that you don't want to miss out on. This time around though, I did something a little different. I tried to play as many demos as possible. Like, I kid you not, I think I've played over 50 demos in the last 7 days. I didn't sleep much, but I found some hidden gems that I think you're truly going to enjoy. Plus, this time around, I'll be covering a whole range of genres, so I'm sure there'll be definitely at least one title here that you'll enjoy playing during the fest, or at least adding it to your wish list. And if that happens, maybe consider liking or subscribing to continue finding more great games. Like this one, called Dead as Disco, developed by Brainjar Games. Now, after I played Hi-Fi Rush last year, I realized that the gaming world desperately needed more rhythm-based games, and this title aims to combine the beat mechanics with some beat-em-up style gameplay. You play as Charlie Disco, a fallen icon with one chance to reclaim the spotlight from the idols, who are Charlie's ex-bandmates and musical legends. But to be honest, I wasn't too bothered by that, as these neon-soaked visuals hit you in the face faster than Charlie doing a number on these bad guys. The combat is basic but enjoyable. You've got the standard range of attacks like light, heavy, parry, specials, but obviously going to the beat of some killer songs makes it way more fun to play. And the best part, you can import your own songs. It's like these devs have been reading my diary ever since I first discovered Beat Hazard Ultra. No Spotify connection, but you can import MP3s from your PC. I downloaded some random drum and bass, thumbsucked the BPM, and off I went. And yes, it was awesome. In the demo, you only get to play one level, but that's all I needed to know that this is my kind of game. And then there's this endless mode, and that's when I discovered the import music button, and I had an absolute blast. There's no release date yet, but definitely worth keeping an eye on if you're a fan of Hi-Fi Rush, or maybe even Seafood too.
Still with me, Mr. Harrow?
Can I help you?
When you think of the best point-and-click narrative games, Disco Elysium remains right up there, but I think Rue Valley might just be a very strong contender when it comes out. It's being developed by Emotion Spark Studio, but the fact that Owlcat Games are publishing it made me have a closer look, as it's a bit out of their type of genre. But wow, this demo had me captured right from the very start. Like with other point-and-click adventure games, you'll be walking around this motel trying to find out what's going on. You start in a psychologist's room at 8 AM, and throughout the day you'll encounter people or events, some stranger than others. How you tackle these events and conversations is determined by your personality that you create in the beginning. I decided to make the guy resemble my personality, awkward yet calculated with his decisions, leading to some conversation topics being blocked off, much like in my real life. Weird stuff starts happening though, and when you wake up after some rough dreams, you realize the day is repeating itself, and you start remembering bits and pieces of it. Eventually, more memories start to unlock, and you soon realize that nothing is what it seems. The visuals give off a comic book vibe, and the scenes just look incredible, like at night with the neon reflecting off puddles in the parking lot. Man, I was blown away. Even though the demo is a bit short, I can't wait to play the full game, which is annoying as it says it's coming out soon on the Steam page, so hopefully we won't have to wait that much longer. There's this rare beauty in space games where you zoom out and just admire all the zero-G chaos that's unfolding right before your eyes. And to me, Era 1's demo is absolutely nailing that feeling. Ever since the rocky release of Homeworld 3, space and RTS fans like myself have been eyeing this game very closely. Developed and published by Team Complex, a well-known name in the homeworld modding community. Now, I was hesitant. The game just looked too good to be true. You start with a blank canvas of a starship, whereupon you need to build everything from ship bays to storage containers, from turrets to even your thrusters. To build all of this requires gathering resources from asteroids and nearby derelict ships. But the coolest part, your ship is modular, so building becomes this Lego-like game of trying to make it look as badass as possible while keeping it still functional. But you can even build more than one, as the trailer shows off this epic space fleet just cruising by. Building ships to attack your enemy is key, but again, it reminded me of playing Beyond All Reason, where there's just so much control in this full 3D environment. It was a lot to take in. I was just in awe of the incredible details in the ships, even when zooming in, watching as darkness consumed my main base with just the neon blue lights poking out. Then the demo has you throw down against some space pirates in real time. It's very overwhelming, I won't lie, but luckily you can pause, as so much is given to you in the UI that most of my playthrough was just trying to understand what does what. Eventually I had my ship cruising to the enemy. I still had no idea what I was doing, but I was loving every moment of it, all while this epic soundtrack was playing in the background. Era 1 releases in July, so all my RTS and space fans out there, you don't want to miss this one, as it's looking very promising right now. It's been a while since this name has popped up into my gaming library, but Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is looking absolutely incredible. Which makes sense, as it's being developed by the Game Kitchen. That's the team behind the game Blasphemous. So you know it's not going to be a walk in the park, but you also know that you're in for some pixelated visual pleasure. It's also being published by Dotemu, the company behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, so I guess you could say this game is in very safe hands. Naturally, Ragebound is a 2D platformer, with you playing as Kenji as, Ryu is off to the land of the free, and you need to help save the village of Hayabusa from these nasty demons. Luckily, you have some help on your side thanks to tapping into your own demons, allowing you to control the skilled assassin named Kumori. At first, the demo gets you used to playing with just Kenji, learning how to use his ninja attacks to slice through foes with ease. However, you need to learn how to use your jump attack to bounce off enemies, as well as use your special attack for the big guys. It's not easy and takes a lot of practice, no button mashing here, but once you get the hang of it, you can't get enough. And then the game says, hey, let's add Kumori's moves in too, so now you can throw shurikens as well as the scythe thing, and then you have all these powers combined, and it unleashes this crazy insane attack. It's incredible. And this all happens with this great looking 8-bit style I enjoyed seeing in Blasphemous. And then that bumping retro soundtrack adds to that whole experience. So while I sucked at the platforming sections, the fighting was too slick, and doing a clean run and nailing every enemy without taking damage is oh so satisfying. Ragebound drops on the 31st of July, and right now I'm sure it's going to be a great game for 2D platforming fans.
She's gone. Find her before she leaves the building.
Definitely one of the best looking games I've seen in a while. This is for players who enjoy a lot of sneaking around. Eriksholm, The Stolen Dream, developed by River End Games and published by Nordcurrent Labs, is this beautiful isometric stealth RPG set in the vibrant Nordic city of Eriksholm, inspired by the early 1900s Scandinavia. This was actually my fiance's pick. She said it reminded her a lot of an old game she used to play called The City of the Lost Children that she really loved, so I wanted to give it a go, and I'm very glad I did. Similar to that game, Eriksholm, or however you pronounce it, is all about that stealthy gameplay. Going in loud will only get you caught, as the police are looking for you after your brother disappears and you need to find out what happened to him. I'm not the biggest fan of stealth games, mainly because I'm not very patient, but luckily failure here just means restarting at a nearby checkpoint. And with these graphics, to me one of the best parts was just admiring this city. There's just so much detail in every nook and cranny. The stealth starts to ramp up the further you play, and it's cool seeing other puzzle elements added in too. The demo was great and left me wanting more, but luckily you won't have to wait long, as Eriksholm is releasing on the 15th of July for PC, Xbox and PlayStation. So I'm pretty sure most of my subscribers were waiting for me to mention this game, but I knew from the start Jump Ship was going to be the game for me. Developed by Keepsake Games, this title is touted as a mix of Sea of Thieves, Left 4 Dead and FTL. Quite a combo, but how does it actually work? It's a first-person co-op game where you need to explore the galaxy, taking down these evil robots on various derelict space stations. You start at your home base, and from there you get to choose a location to do missions. For the Sea of Thieves part, well, you have a ship that you need to upgrade, repair, control, and fight off enemy ships. In the demo, I played it by myself, which was still a lot of fun, but I can tell it's built for playing with friends, as yeah, running around while you're under attack can be daunting at times. One of my favorite parts though was just ejecting out of my ship and cruising to the place to do the mission, and this is where the Left 4 Dead part comes in, where you need to face waves of these killer robots, collecting loot and then getting back safely. Now the FTL part was interesting. I assume that's because your ship can only have a certain number of systems going at any given time, and then choosing where to go next in missions also reminded me a bit of that roguelike too. Overall though, the gameplay felt tight, slick, and I can't wait to get my hands on it when it releases this year.
Balbalon has fallen. A pit is all that remains. Now treasure seekers flock to explore its depths.
Anyone remember Brick Breaker? When I first heard about Ball Pit, or Ball X Pit, or Bollocks Pit as I'm calling it now, the thought of a reimagined Brick Breaker game didn't appeal to me. I rolled my eyes, but because it was from Devolver Digital, I decided to try it out, and boy did it hook me in deep. The dev Kenny Sun managed to change up the outdated gameplay mechanic into a roguelike I struggled to put down. At first I was like, okay cool, you're breaking bricks, or rather these skeleton type enemies, but once I started getting upgrades, trying to create the most epic build, I found myself really enjoying it. Collecting these blue and green gems gives you the ability to upgrade your character as well as choosing new skills, but it's all about those efficient upgrades though. These multicolored orbs giving you the ability to combine powers, not just once, but all the time. Like this one time I had this huge fireball like hurricane, it was massive. Now because it's a roguelike, you can expect meta progression, but not just any meta progression, Brick Breaker city building meta progression. So you're not just building your town, there's this little mini game where you need to choose how you want to aim in order to get the best resources. These resources then give you bonus stats during your run. Going back to the action, eventually so much is going on. Bullets flying everywhere, arrows coming at you, it's pure mayhem. But it wasn't just that kept me playing. Because let me tell you, the music, the background soundtrack draws you in. Let me just give you an example. Not many roguelikes have such a banger like this, and I just couldn't wait to jump back in. Honestly, I still have it playing in the back of my head. But does it give you that same satisfaction of angling that perfect shot while your ball goes in between two bricks, creating such devastation at the back? Yes, it absolutely does. No release date yet, but Bollocks Pit might just be my top pick from Devolver Digital this year.
Bring prosperity to the last bastion of humanity, or else all will fall.
The next game had me a bit worried because I thought I'd lose too much time playing it and not play any other demo, so I actually played this last just in case. And I'm glad I did, as All Will Fall, this physics-based survival colony sim, had me sinking hours into trying to make the most effective settlement that kept everyone alive and well. The game is being developed by All Parts Connected and published by Tiny Build. And in the game, the world as you know is dying, overtaken by this endless ocean. You are the leader of a small group of survivors stranded on a rusty boat. You find a small land area, solid enough to serve as a building foundation, and now, slowly but surely, you need to build up a city. It reminded me a bit of the survival aspects of Raft combined with maybe even Frostpunk, so you start by collecting wood, junk, and food and other resources and slowly start upgrading your place. Different mechanics make it interesting though, like how the tide plays a role in areas that you can and can't access, or storms that just blow junk all over the place. Now it's on this list because it shows so much potential. Even though it is called All Will Fall, I didn't get as much physics-based falling as I'd hoped for when looking at the trailer, but it did tick so many other boxes. I love trying to construct things that optimize the space, or just trying to get to inaccessible places to get the resources. It reminded me a lot of building in Valheim, and the challenge of making it as stable as possible was weirdly satisfying. The graphics are impressive too, and I enjoyed zooming in what my people were up to, mostly chatting around a fire complaining about the lack of food. All Will Fall drops sometimes this year, so definitely check it out if you're a fan of city builders and colony sims.
Fight to reach the gloom one move at a time. Every decision matters. Every card could be the difference between victory or a new beginning.
So deck builders are a dime a dozen these days, and it's not easy to stand out anymore. But Shroom Gloom from the developer Team Laserbeam and being published by, yes, Devolver Digital, is looking to change it up. What looks like what happens if the game Inscription had a Last of Us DLC, this deck building roguelike has you not only battling enemies using your cards, but exploration too. The hand-drawn visuals are what first caught my eye. Everything just looks very trippy, and that originality flows into the various cards you choose from as well. Like with most roguelikes, you need to choose different paths, unlocking new gear, leveling up your weapons, and more. But everything is done using those cards. In the demo, if I wanted to say open a door, I would use the card called Bash, which would hurt me a bit, but then there's also a key which you can use, and then that'll give you different buffs. So it's like having two deck building systems means essentially doubling the strategies you can choose. And looking at the battles, they get intense. Looking up and seeing how much damage the main mushroom themed enemy is about to unleash, it's pretty nerve-wracking. So planning your moves and executing them correctly becomes oddly satisfying in this game. No release date yet, but if you're a fan of deck building games, be sure to check out Shroom Gloom today. Telltale games have always had a soft spot in my heart, so when I started playing The Dispatch, that warm feeling started coming back.
Why is this happening?
What?
But then I heard the main character's voice, and I was like, wait, is that Aaron Paul? Am I playing a superhero-themed Telltale with him in it? This definitely felt like a Telltale game, like The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us, and well, that's because it's being developed and published by Ad Hoc Studio, made up of some of the people who brought us those brilliant games. You play as Robert Robertson, aka Mecha Man, whose mech suit is destroyed in a battle against his nemesis, forcing him to take a job at a superhero dispatch center, not as a hero, but as a dispatcher. You're in charge of rehabilitating a group of ex-supervillains, so you must manage your roster while navigating office relationships and rebuilding your suit for a shot at revenge. So yeah, choices do matter, but so does its title, the name of the game, which is a majority of the playtime in the demo, and I'm assuming some of the full game too. When there's an emergency, well, you need to dispatch the hero you think is best for the job. It sounds simple at first, but then you need to start juggling multiple events, multiple personalities, and all the other fun stuff that comes with managing a team. Now the biggest draw, or I guess push, from this game is its humor. Honestly, some parts were a little cringy, but I did get a lot of laughs most of the time. It's got that dry humor you might find in a show like Invincible or maybe some Adult Swim shows. The voice acting though is top notch, with some impressive voice actors I didn't actually know about until a fellow channel and friend Prozion pointed them out. Like with other Telltale games, it's going to be less about the mundane activities and more about the story you create, and that's what I'm most looking forward to. So Dispatch is set for release sometime this year for both PC and consoles. Okay, so this one isn't technically part of the Steam Next Fest, but their demo dropped recently and I just couldn't resist. Hellclock is a mix of Diablo meets Hades, where this action RPG dungeon crawler had me hooked from the very beginning. Developed by Rogue Snail and published by Mad Mushroom, the game is set in the 19th century, where Canudos became a refuge for thousands of people. When its people defined the New Republic, they faced brutal retaliation, leaving 25,000 dead. Now the War of Canudos is a real thing, it really happened, but obviously now there's more fantasy elements at work. You play as Peju, a warrior fighting to rescue the soul of the counselor, his fallen mentor. While playing the demo, I was getting heavy Hades vibes, just in another setting. The roguelike mechanics like upgrading your weapons, your abilities and more, I was very impressed. But then at the same time, look at the bottom, you've got a health and a mana pool. Now granted, instead of being like a level 60 druid in Diablo or an axe-wielding Greek god in Hades, here your pistols do the talking. And talking they most certainly do. It just felt so fluid, switching between this triple shot to a dash, then activating this area of effect that would just slowly kill enemies. Like, I could not get enough. There's tons of upgrades that you can easily pick up along the way that won't slow you down. However, what is weird is that it does have a timer, which I did find a bit odd, but luckily you can turn it off in the beginning if you want to play at a slower pace. If this looks good to you, Health Clock is dropping on the 22nd of July, and I can't wait to see what else this team has in store for us.
The town rises from the hills, bathed in the golden Mediterranean sun. Cobbled streets wind between homes with ivory-clad balconies.
So subscribers to my channel might know that I enjoy my city builders like a lot, and when I saw this trailer to Town to City a few months back, it really caught my eye. The game is being developed by Galaxy Grove and published by Quali Limited, where it's a voxel-based city builder that does things a little differently. Sure, it does look a bit like Minecraft and City Skylines decided to do a collab, but look a little deeper and you'll find a cozy game wrapped in addictive gameplay. I was also just drawn into the overall look of it. That added depth of field effects and the detailed shadows really helped it feel even more cozy than it should be. The demo reminded me a lot of Foundation, except this time it's even more of a sandbox when it comes to building your organic little village. Speaking of that, yeah, Town to City is all about drawing outside the lines. From roads to just placing down decorations and all that, the game just really wants your village to look as organic as possible. But you still need to keep your people happy. For example, some will have certain needs for their homes that they want met, like maybe more trees, a house by the lake, as well as other needs to keep your village looking a little more dynamic. The music is calming, the environment is cheerful, but honestly you can't always stop and smell the roses. You still need to keep your residents happy, and the upgrade tree means there's always something to add, from shops that require employees to more decorations that will improve the happiness of shops and homes. Town to City doesn't have an official release date yet, but it's perfect for someone looking for just a cozy city builder that's doing something a little bit different. For those wanting a more hack and slash game where every move just looks so slick and cool, Morbid Metal is definitely one to look out for. It's a fast-paced single-player action roguelike developed by Screen Juice, and get this, published by Ubisoft out of all companies, where you need to go through these stages set in ancient Japanese ruins mixed with cyber-like enemies. You're in control of this AI that's able to change its form up to 4 times, and you go through these simulations, so when you die you restart. There were only 2 in the demo, one that was this fast-paced one that could slice and dice through anything in its path, and then the slower one that had this massive blade that honestly was my favorite of the 2. It definitely reminded me a lot of Devil May Cry, the fast-paced combos and the enemies on all sides. It was a lot of fun. When you die though, like with most roguelikes, you have to start all over, but at least you get to try out different upgrades along the way to change up your playstyle. I think what sets it apart though is that you're able to switch between forms during the game, like while you're in a battle, so you can have a light attack, a heavy attack, a parry, and then finish it off by changing forms with another character. It's really good. However, you might need a beefy rig to play it, as yeah, my laptop really struggled, so hopefully they do some improvements later down the line. The game drops on the 20th of August this year, so fans of fast-paced hack and slash games should definitely check it out, or maybe play the demo, or definitely add it to your wishlist.
Who am I? I'm the guy they call when they need the kind of big gun energy that makes the US of A the most fearsome... or I was that guy.
Does anyone here ever remember Desert Strike or Jungle Strike? No? Well, if you do, welcome to Nostalgia Strike. Sorry, I mean Cleared Hot. Developed by Not Knowing Corporation and being published by Microprose, this is for anyone who enjoys just flying around in a helicopter and blowing everything up. But not only do you have a machine gun or Gatling gun and your rockets, but also your trusty hook. This means that you can get very creative with your attacks. Plus the physics make it even more fun. Like I tried picking someone up and throwing them against a rock, and after that I dismembered a whole group of people with just using my blades, and I was like, okay, this game does not mess around. The demo was a blast. Like, you just start off rescuing chickens to trying to dodge heat-seeking missiles. The action is intense, it is a lot of fun, and you're doing all of this while jamming to some retro synthwave to really amp up that nostalgia, with also some low poly graphics to make it feel a little bit more modern. Plus you will be able to upgrade your chopper as well as buy new ones. Cleared Hot comes out sometime this year and will be a must play for those wanting to relive the old days of playing a game from the Strike series. Now, not many people might know this, but there's this really great game on mobile called Gladiator Manager. Now, I'm pretty sure the devs Exordium Games saw that game and thought, hey, let's make it even better. Published by Daedalic Entertainment, Bloodgrounds is looking to be one of my favorite turn-based tactics games this year. Why? Well, first up, there's nothing I love more than managing gladiators. You have your home base where you can recruit, train and upgrade your fighters. There's a ton of different attributes you get to go through, and then comes your weapons and armor. There's also a lot of otherworldly elements going on, like magic, so you really have to have a creative bunch of gladiators in your team if you want to do well. The battles being turn-based means you really have to plan out all your moves. Again, tons of varieties for your attacks. Plus, you have side objectives from the crowd that give you more awards at the end if you complete them. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to have so much fun, but this game is looking phenomenal. Set for release this year, I'm so looking forward to playing Bloodgrounds. And if you like squad-based, turn-based strategy tactics games, be sure to check this one out. Now in my Discord server, every now and again I have a developer that joins and shares their game, and this one developed and published by Meat Lab called Dread Protocol really caught my eye. This is a third-person action shooter roguelike that is set in space that's a mix of dungeon crawler action and FTL-like elements sprinkled in between. I really love the low-poly, cel-shaded aesthetic. It makes it similar to Borderlands, as well as the crazy battles going on in these tight corridors. I've been following the game for a while, and it's come a long way, with the dev listening to all the feedback that he's received. It reminded me a bit of Jump Ship, so you go to a location, killing everyone that moves, and then get out. Tons of cool weapons to try out, but the best is when you blow a hole open into the shell and everyone just gets sucked out into the vacuum of space. Plus you get these abilities along the way where you can choose your different attributes to upgrade your character. Unfortunately, no release date yet, but I did have a lot of fun playing it, so maybe go check out the demo today.
Out here, things move a little slower. Morning fog hanging low. Geese flapping off like they own the place.
Pixel graphics and indie games, name a better combo. I actually made a whole video for upcoming Pixel games this year, and Cast and Chill happened to be on it. Published and developed by Wombat Brawler, the name Cast and Chill is very descriptive. You and your doggo set off to catch fish, and well, chill. The music is calming, the fishing mechanic is challenging but not too frustrating, and it's honestly one of the best looking environments I've seen with such few pixels. While playing the demo, I found a good spot to cast, then chose a desired lure and watched as my line went under. Not every lure will attract every fish, and the bigger ones will be a challenge to reel in. Luckily, there's a shop that's filled with essentials like more lures, longer line, and even a bigger box or boat that can carry more fish. But even though there is some skill involved in the game, it's not meant to be a challenge. I mean, there's even an idle mode where you can just let the game play itself and just relax in the background. Coming out soon on the 16th of June, Cast and Chill is for players wanting a game to relax to, and it certainly does a great job at that. If these visuals ring a bell, it's because yes,
Kurz gesagt,
are making a game. That channel, alongside Tucana Interactive, the team behind Dorf Romantic, are bringing us a space automation game called Starbirds. These birds are on their ship, exploring the galaxy and discovering all the mysteries it has to offer. Very much like the YouTube channel I always struggle to pronounce. However, this is very much an automation game, and it reminded me a bit of Factorio and definitely Dyson Sphere program. The game is broken into various campaigns where you need to extract resources from asteroids and other space anomalies back onto your starship. Doing that requires placing down launch pads, extractors, and a whole lot more onto these various asteroids. The graphics are just so colorful and vibrant, and while it looks more like a kid's game, eventually you have pipes running everywhere and rockets bringing resources to other asteroids to construct more complicated minerals, so it does get tricky at times. Engaging with everything is also very satisfying, and because it's from the science-based YouTube channel, you can be sure to learn a thing or two along the way. Set for release sometime this year, try out the demo now or add it to your wish list if you enjoy automation games and want something a little different. When you think of extraction shooters, Escape from Tarkov comes to mind, but not for long. Escape from Duckov, which, yeah, great name guys, bravo, is also an extraction shooter developed by Team Soda and being published by Bilibili. So unlike other hardcore realistic extraction shooters, this time around, you're a duck, and everything is cute and vibrant colors are everywhere. However, that doesn't mean it's any less brutal. Honestly, the first few attempts of getting outside my bunker were met with instant death. I'd say the biggest downside with this game though is that it's single player only, but you can still have hours of fun because all the mechanics are actually pretty decent. You have a base that you can upgrade along the way, a whole bunch of weapons and gear, and the battles are intense. Cute, but intense. Honestly, I thought it was just going to be another Tarkov clone, but there is a lot of fun and interesting changes that kept me wanting more. Set for release sometime this year, Escape from Duckov is looking very promising so far. Lastly, I'm including this wild card of a game called Easy Day Delivery Co., which first caught my attention because I was a fan of the game's soundtrack in the trailer. What can I say, I love my drum and bass and jungle. Developed by Sam C and published by Oro Interactive, this game unlocked a need to keep playing because of one thing: its mood. I guess the genre of the game would be a delivery sim or a Death Stranding type of game. You essentially, well, deliver goods from point A to point B. Sounds simple enough until you realize it's the middle of winter, snow is covering the roads, being outside can cause you to freeze to death, and you need more energy drinks than anything. But the hardest part is just trying to keep your packages not from flying everywhere. But all of this doesn't matter once you lean back and absorb the mood of this game. These low poly visuals like the ones from PlayStation back in the day, the outdated driving mechanics, cats for some reason, and of course, that soundtrack. Like I said, I'm a sucker for drum and bass, so slap that into a game and I'm sold. Like, I literally played this game until I unlocked more radio stations, as yeah, there are side objectives just to listen to what else was on that radio. Also, it's not easy, and losing your packages is very frustrating, and so is drinking all those energy drinks. But these type of driving sim games are for those special people who just want to zone out and be in the game. And honestly, that's what happened to me. It's 1 AM right now, and I was supposed to stop playing this game an hour ago, but here I am. Easy Day Delivery Co. releases sometime this year, and honestly, I can't wait to play it. I wanted to include more games, but these ones really stood out for me. What looks good to you? Did I miss a game you really enjoyed? Let me know in the comments section below. Other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and as always, don't stop gaming.